The first indication I had that the war had started was the day after war was declared, and during the night the warning sirens went off. So I literally fell out of bed, grabbed my trousers and joined the rest of the family on the landing on the way down to the air raid shelter. But I didn't actually hear any bombs fall or anything, just the sound of aircraft. But it was truly terrifying. I've never forgotten that sound.
Yeah.
And we also, at the bottom of our garden, the main railway line ran along. And of course they used that for direction, because the railway lines and canals are very good for them to spot where they are. And it was a continuous thing, you know. And then a small factory that bordered our back garden was hit, and that was completely destroyed. Fortunately, there were no night workers at that time, so it only took the factory. But all our windows were shattered. We didn't have a window left in the place. And for a long time, they were just boarded up, because I don't think anybody could get any glass. And not only that, it was a waste of time putting them back in, really. But of course, then you got on with it the next morning. Everybody had to turn up for work and so on, you know, and people did their work, such as a milkman and a baker and that. They did their work as well as they could, you know, and everything tried to be normal. Of course it wasn't, but there you are. And there was this terrifying list of people being killed, and men being taken over there in their thousands, really. But I think at that time there was more going on from the air than there was on the land, and more killings in that way, because they could blow up whole factories.
Oh yeah.
I worked in the cinema in Bromsgrove. We were quite busy, I'll tell you that. People would come in with their evening meal. They wrapped a newspaper half the time.
Ah, yes.
And eat their meal.
Eat the meal in the cinema.
Yeah. Otherwise, they didn't get a seat. You see, they had to come early, straight off.
That's right. The cinemas were always full. Yes.
Oh
yes.
Fun and games, and that's when you look at it back, isn't it?
I know. You do wonder how we survived. I mean,
Yes.
so many didn't, I know.
I was going to say we went back to our normal way of living. I know there were shortages and all that, but we didn't let the war and the bombs and everything get us down, did they?
No.
You were very pleased if you got something extra off your ration, if you managed to scrounge that.
Ah, yes. Something extra.
Yeah.
Or somebody...
Another half pound of margarine, for one thing.
Yeah. I think with a lot of people, I think sugar was the big thing.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me, because I'd never taken it immaterially.
Well, I gave it up long after that,
but a lot of people really did crave their sugar ration, I think. And of course you couldn't make it up by eating sweets, because there were so few sweets.
They were rationed as well.
Yeah. That was something that really got me down, because I loved my sweets. I always loved to buy a quarter of this or a quarter of that, you know. And the ration was very low. Well, I mean, it was for me.
2 ounces, wasn't it?
Yes, something like that, yes. It's hard, but I say, well, you get on with it, don't you? And you can't.
It's still in my memory very much. When my husband came back from the Middle East and he was stationed in London, I waiting to go to Normandy. And of course I used to go up once a fortnight, I think. And I arrived in Euston about 5 o'clock in the morning, and he'd walk across London to meet me, and we'd go down to the tube. And it was terrible. I think of it now. Women, you know, rubbing their eyes, waking the kids up because they'd slept there all night. I could still see every minute of it. I went to Portsmouth for our annual holiday. We closed the cinema, you see. I got down there. He wasn't allowed only a 20-mile radius. So he had met me at Guildford, and we got on the bus then. He wouldn't go to Portsmouth, Pompey as they called it.
That's right, yeah.
Because the Red Caps were there, so we had to go by bus to the destination. He said, give me a case and follow behind. So they thought it was his case, you see, not me. because we weren't supposed to be there. But anyway, he'd found me some lodgings, and the woman had got her grandchildren there, and she went off to the caves in the South Downs every night, because the buzz bombs had started there.
Yes.
And we got up one night, and the next street had
I went into Birmingham, into central Birmingham. I can't remember why I went. And there was an air raid while I was there, and we all went down the steps of a pub where they used to take the barrels down.
Yeah,
we went down and stayed in the cellar because, you know, it was the nearest place to get to that was safe. And when we came, we were there for a couple of hours, and I got to walk then to get to Eccles Green, which was about 7 miles. And all the way along the Stratford Road, there were no shop windows left anywhere. All the glass was on the floor. They'd all been shuttered. I don't know what they'd blown up nearby, but the whole way was covered in broken glass from all the shops. And it was that sort of thing that really brought it home to me.